Rolling.
All right, we're here in Los Angeles, Compton, West South Central area with our future presidential nominee, brother
Brussard Glover.
Brussard Glover. He'll be running for president in a couple of years. First question I want to ask him, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background or whatever?
Well, my name is Brussard Glover, born and raised in South LA. Grew up exactly on 66 Vermont. Crenshaw High, football star, went away to Central State University, got my education, worked in the private security industry for 20 plus years. Now I retired in 2016 to do the work that our ancestors and our forefathers couldn't do. And that's the second phase of the civil rights. And to make sure that we get everything that we supposed to have from a social and economic perspective.
Right, that's a good focus, and it sounds like it's congruent with a lot that we got going on. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you about this. You're running for president. One of the biggest things that we personally are already working on is the federal law, the qualified immunity.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? And could you tell us what it means to you and why?
Well, the qualified immunity, it's that blue code of silence that we can no longer have. Our public officials, our law enforcement officers cannot, continue as a gang, continue to move from department to department.
Especially when they promote snitching, right?
Right.
Well, it's cool for y'all to snitch, but when it comes for us, hold on, let us talk to our union representative.
Right.
Okay.
And then it's the blue code of silence. They don't even share the information or let the community know what's going on. So that's something that has to be redacted. There could be no qualified immunity. There's no, if you can, just like any other job, if you do a malpractice on your job, you get fired. You have to communicate, you have to talk to the powers that be.
And you get sued.
You get sued, and like I said, and you get a bad rap, so you can't go to another company or another department and get a job. So the qualified immunity is one of the number one things that we have to talk about, because as long as we have qualified immunity, you're going to get the wrong type of people becoming police officers. Because the history in LA, they recruited a lot of white Southerners from the South to come to LA to basically control the escapees from the South in LA and South Central. So in that blue code of silence, it's a gang. They know they could do anything they want to do to anybody, and they could get clearance. But if we take that issue and never turn the page on it, I guarantee you, we'll start to see better community policing for us, by us, in South Central LA and other communities of color.
Okay, do you identify as a Democrat or a conservative?
I'm a nonpartisan independent.
And
okay.
we need more of that.
Nonpartisan independent, but one thing you said, a Democrat or conservative, it's not a Democrat or conservative, it's a Democrat or Republican.
Right.
Okay. I'm a black man,
But
you're a black man, so we're pretty much conservative, but we nonpartisan independents. We don't do the two-party system, because one thing that I learned at an early age, only the dark side deals with absolute. If you got to just one or the other, God ain't in there. God's not in there.
That's really enlightening. I'm glad that you put that in perfect context. So now that leads me to the next question. As far as the Democratic Party, the elections that just happened with the Senate, Congress, the House of Representatives, and the presidency, the Democrats were able to win and maintain a majority in all of them, if you count Kamala Harris, the vice president, as the final vote.
Right.
How can we hold these people accountable, these legislators, to make sure that they're letting everybody know that this needs to be at the top?
Right.
Besides the economic relief from COVID, because that is first and foremost, people is out here struggling, especially within our community.
Right.
But besides that this should be one of the top priorities on their agenda.
So the beautiful thing about what you just said, this is why I'm running for president, so we can have a seat at the table, so they can really understand what goes on the grassroots, what goes on in the street, the hood, the community, the whole nine. So now that we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what a party to have in office to basically address the issues that they've been supporting
all their career. Yeah.
Right. So now we smart enough, because they say if you're not the strongest, be the smartest.
Right.
So now we're the strongest, becoming the smartest. Now they're gonna have to address, what's going on, because I hate to say it on your platform, but we call him Jim Crow Joe and Kamala Harris, the man what you're talking about.
Ain't no question.
So if she was a real one, she'd leave the back door.
Right.
But she not, because what Willie Lynch says, once you get the system
in a position of control.
Right. And now you got my mama in Chucks and Pearls thinking everything gonna be all right.
Yeah, but we do the Chucks just for what it symbolizes out here.
Right. We do, but they kind of hijacked us a little bit. But
that's what corporate America does.
But party over though, game over though, because when you look at the science like they like to talk about, it's the science of Willie Lynch. So we got the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of segregation, the party of the
Jim Crow,
the party of the 94 crime bill, the party of the crack laws in office to address America's original sin in slavery.
So, and how can we be that optimistic about that?
Because we got a seat at the table. I'm a taxpaying American citizen. I took the mouth swab and traced my people back to Jamestown, Virginia, the year 1619. That 400-year curse is over.
Right.
So they cannot evade this. Game over. Literally game over. So it's a win, but it's a win for the black man too, because now we get an opportunity, because black for me represents black, Latin, Asian, Caucasian kinsmen. We all blood related, but clearly the civil rights movement got hijacked by the feminist movement and the LGBTQ movement. And we just finished 55 years of women empowerment and 50 years of gay pride, and the black man is still being locked up and shot.
Okay, now, especially the way you speak, you sound less as a politician than you do somebody from the street that I could really empathize with. I really feel what you're saying, right? What is the difference between the Willie Lint syndrome and how it affected the people in the past, COINTELPRO, William, O'Neill, Bill O'Neill, whatever you want to call him, who got Fred Hampton killed? How does that affect you? With the way that you spin is fire. It sound like some Fred Hampton, like it's coming from the community, right?
Because remember when I said,
you for South Central?
South Central. Remember when they said, if you're not the strongest, be the smartest.
Right.
So now there's nothing stopping us from doing the research. And the research shows that the stress passes down through generations, and the science is that we just naturally pick up and do what they did. They trying to turn the page and make it a sequel. This George Floyd thing. They trying to seem to get back to normal. But since the George Floyd situation, this is our opportunity. They say it's chestnut checkers, right?
Right.
So we play spades. We got big joker, little joker. So have a seat. We only got 2 books to win this game. So they're gonna have a seat at our table, because look what we pulled off today.
Right.
This is just the start.
Beginning.
This is just the start. And we do know that they infiltrate. We do know that they come in and railroad, but this is why we got people outside looking around for people that shouldn't even be around here.
Right.
I'm sure they asked him who he was. You know, they didn't ask me nothing, ask you nothing, but you gotta understand.
Right.
You know, but in the sense of being a nonpartisan independent, the Constitution says we the people. Politician is a fraud, literally.
Definitely.
If you look up the definition of the American politician, it's a deceiver. You know, so it's for the people, by the people. So they'll blow the head off a Messiah type figure. So my job is just to communicate and to elevate the consciousness of our people, and to have a seat at the table to create that change. Because like I said, running for office, we got local legislators, we got sisters that's in office, we got Maxine Waters, but we've never pulled up and had a conversation.
As we speak about it, Kamala Harris did endorse overturning qualified immunity. So did Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and Sonia Sotomayor. Just because I'm feeling you, I want to make sure that we get it recorded on how we can get in touch with you, how we can find you, and follow your movement on and your quest and journey towards the White House. I want to make sure we get that.
Okay, my name is Brussard Glover. That's B-U-S-H-A-U-N. Last name Glover. You could Google me. You could go to YouTube, A Better Black America TV. That's the YouTube channel. And my name on Instagram, Brussard Glover. My name on Facebook as well. But go ahead and use the Google, because it'll keep you busy.
Okay. Well, brother, we thank you for your time. We thank you for your support, your dedication out here to a cause that's bigger than yourself.
Yes.
And from God and all of this, a lot could come forward.
Yes. Peace out.
All right.